It's 2020. The Earth is heating up, Australia is on fire, the ice caps are melting, the koalas are dying, and the amount of carbon in the atmosphere is multiplying at an alarming rate. What's even more shocking is that there's not a lot of time to reverse the damage we've caused to Mother Nature. Although we cannot prevent climate change, we can slow it down enough to help the poor polar bears keep their ice caps. For example, planting trees will help decrease the amount of carbon dioxide in the air. How? Well, when plants photosynthesize, the equation for photosynthesis is 6CO2, 6H2O, which turns to C6H12O6 plus 6O2, meaning that carbon dioxide is recycled and used to make food. If there are more trees, the more carbon dioxide is removed from the atmosphere. The problem is, trees take forever to grow. By the time the trees have fully grown, the amount of carbon dioxide would have doubled. Then there is direct air capture, where we take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and store it. It sounds crazy and impossible, but studies show that there is a way. Direct air capture uses large fans and chemical absorbents that help store CO2. The fossil fuel industry can also use the captured CO2 for enhanced oil recovery. The problem is, the amount of energy DAC would need is concerning. It also uses a large amount of water, which is necessary for crops and fields.
Next, there's the option of using electric cars. Electric cars reduce the use of fossil fuels and require less maintenance than most gas dependent cars. How do they work? They run on electric power. Some even recommend paying solar panels to charge your car instead of paying for gasoline every few weeks. The US used around 9 billion barrels of petroleum last year. With electric cars, it helps lower the use of petroleum and the amount of smog and the emissions that come from vehicles. Electric cars instead have wheel to wheel emissions. Electric vehicles emit an average of 4,450 pounds of carbon dioxide, while gasoline cars use over twice as much. Natural gas, such as CO2, is considered to be a clean fossil fuel because it emits less carbon dioxide than coal. There are some cons though. These cars cost around $45,000 and can only go 100 miles before needing to recharge. And the charging time. For 24 miles, it takes around an hour.
How about solar energy? It's also a good alternative because it uses the sun as a source of power. Not only is the sun renewable, but it's safe and supplies electricity to everyone. It also helps reduce electricity bills. And it's low maintenance. How do they work? A solar panel consists of a layer of silicon cells, a metal frame, a glass casing, and wiring to allow current to flow from the silicon cells. Silicon is a nonmetal with conductive properties that allow it to absorb and convert sunlight into electricity. When light interacts with a silicon cell, it causes electrons to be set into motion, which generates a flow of electric current. This is called the photovoltaic effect, and it describes the general functionality of solar panel technology. There are some cons as well. The average cost of solar panel is $5,000 and the installation is $17,000. It also uses a lot of storage and it's weather dependent, meaning if it rains, not a lot of electricity is produced.
A lot of these options are expensive and the government refuses to fund them because of the costs and troubles of replacing households with these types of technology. While the government spends a lot on the military, and research shows that the US military is one of the largest climate polluters, especially because of their use of fossil fuels and the emitting a lot of carbon dioxide. Around 269,230 barrels of oil are bought every day and it costs around 2.8 billion just to emit 25 kilotons of carbon dioxide instead of using it for the army, which are mostly in Iran, where there's no threat. The government can use that money in programs such as the Natural Gas STAR program, who work with business to reduce emissions with public recognition. The government can also set regulations like fuel efficiency and emission standards for vehicles. They can also use this money to pay for electric cars and solar panels to help reduce carbon dioxide emissions. Although climate change is happening quickly, if we all work together to make a change and let our voices be heard, the world will be a better and less hotter place.